Obviously it doesn't need to be...
Hello everyone. We're going back in time to 1937 to Newton Ferrers Mayo in Devon, where Dad, Jack Hockaday, lived. So let's start with where you lived in Newton Ferrers.
Well, I lived at 5 Beech cottages at Higher Newton, as they called it. And that's, you know, the green is, the green is, well, it's just up from there a bit, between the green and the garage at the top.
And so Beech cottages, that was obviously a terrace of cottages then? Because I don't remember that.
Well, it was 2 thatched cottages to begin with, and we lived in number 5. And but as you go up the lane, on the left-hand side, there's 3 other cottages there. Mr. Thomas lived in number 1 there, and Miss Beasley, and the Fosters. They lived in the 5th one.
Okay, and these were thatched cottages?
No, it was only the 2 in the front with thatch really.
Okay.
The rest was, I suppose, but they did sort of slate them over.
Yeah, so you were born and your mum was Winifred and your dad was Bill Hockaday, well William, and you had at the time, because Brian came along later, you had brother Harry and brother Billy.
Yep.
So, you know, tell me a bit about life there.
Well, I mean, life was okay. I mean, in 1939, of course, didn't know a lot about it until then.
Yeah.
Because I was only 2 years old, you see.
Of course.
And it was the beginning of the war. And
that must have been a bit scary.
Well, not to me it wasn't. But you were a kid and you didn't really sort of take a lot of notice of it, you see.
You didn't really understand what was going on at the time, perhaps, being 2 years old. Really, it was just something that was...
What facilities did you have in the cottages? Did you have running water in the cottages?
No. What we did, as you go across the road, it was the old school bungalow, and there was a tap outside there.
Right. Okay.
And we get the water from there.
So what did you have? You had an outside dunny, outside toilet?
No, that was in part of it. It was just a lean-to on the end, the thatched lean-to on the end.
This is on the end of the cottage.
Yes.
So there was a communal toilet then for all the.
Oh no! It's all
had
their own.
Ah, right. Okay.
But technically, it was still outside as such. It was still attached to the house, but outside. Really, it wasn't like our toilet here. Which
so you had a lean-to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excellent.
And how many rooms did the cottage have that you lived in?
Well, it had 2 bedrooms, kitchen, living room downstairs, and
So all the boys were in 1 bedroom.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, this is it then. You see, and
what was the age difference then between the boys?
Harry was 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
Right.
And Billy was about 8.
And your cottage then, because I seem to remember that area was quite flat, wasn't it? So you must have had nice gardens there then.
Well, this is it. We had gardens front and back of it. This is it. You nice gardens front and back.
Yeah.
I guess you had a veg patch.
I was going to say, did you grow your own veg and things like that? You must have.
Well, yeah, this is it really. That's all you grew really.
Yeah.
Grandad was brilliant at that. So what did you grow? You must have grown loads of things.
All sorts, whatever was the vegetables. That was it. You grew it. And plus the fact is that on the school bungalow, going uphill, there was a local allotment there. So which we had a small allotment there. And of course we used to grow gooseberries and all this sort of thing.
And did you help as children with your father?
Not at that age.
No, I suppose it was Harry and that was slightly older, weren't they?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So they used to go up the allotment and have a good old dig over, you see.
Yeah.
And
I guess putting a 2-year-old into the allotment might be enough.
I was
I don't know.
Might hardly good. It might be like a giant 2-year-old slug at that point. But it's like just going around eating and stepping on things.
So
But,
yeah.
So what? You obviously went to school in the village. Did all the boys go to the same primary school in the village?
Yes. They all went there, and Billy went to grammar school, and we went to secondary modern.
Right. Yeah. So, and what did your dad, Bill, do for a living at that time?
Well, when he was younger, he used to do a bit of fishing with Grandad. You see, he used to go out and go out, but he didn't go much on that. He ended up by working in the Yealm Hotel, and he used to look after the generator, which he was a bit of an engine man. He knew, you couldn't tell him a lot about engines. And, plus the fact is that Mr. Tenney used to do a lot of photography, and he used to get Dad to row up the Kitty River and taking off photos and this sort of thing.
That really interested me when I heard that. That really interested me when I heard that, because I never knew that about great granddad, and then it's just something that was quite personal to find out, really, as opposed to what he did for a living and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That he had quite a keen interest in photography.
Would you say he was a professional fisherman? I mean, was that his major source of income? Because it seems.
Well, he used to drive for a lorry sometimes, just to earn a bit of money, I suppose, for Mr. Tope.
Right.
Topes.
Yep.
He had a lorry, and they should go, forward and back for bits and
Who's
pieces.
Mr. Topes?
Was he? Am I thinking of Topes, the
Tent man?
The tent man.
No.
That's what I was thinking of.
He was a different. I suppose it's the
Same family,
same sort of
Topes,
family,
yeah.
but no, the Topes. They were quite a biggish family there, and I remember there were five of them used to row the greyback team. Tope brothers,
God.
and so they were quite a lot of them.
So did you have, were the crabbers around? Do you remember the crabbers as they were?
Well, yes, sort of. I mean, the Fosters, they had two crabbers, see, and they used to keep them at the brook, and which they used to. Matter of fact, Edgar Foster was the last man to sail out of the Yealm in the crabber. Used to work a crabber there.
Right.
Yeah.
And
For a living, you mean?
for a living,
For a living, yes.
That must have been a hard life, really, mustn't it?
Oh yeah.
God.
Edgar, he ended up being the local postman.
Gosh.
Right. As you do.
But at least he knew the place anyway.
Oh yeah. But the funny thing was that he used to read all the postcards. You see, when and he used to say, he knock on the door, I got some mail for you, and so and so he's coming home tomorrow.
All right, we'll leave it there for 5 minutes.